Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Barbed Wire Bite. Here with your host, as always, Pitbull number one, Mr. Gary Wolf.
Yo, what's happening?
I took your advice and binge watched all those Pam and Tommys.
How did you like it?
Oh man, and the funny thing is I remember I had the tape, and I remember like as you're hearing it, I'm like, wait, didn't she fuck him on a boat? And all that, and then they're showing it. It's like, yeah, I remember watching all this, but that girl looks just like Pam. It's creepy. Because I had a huge.
Oh yeah, the one that's playing her.
Yeah, she's a dead ringer.
They got her down pretty much. I don't know if they mess with the camera or something, or it's I don't know. Unless the makeup is just tremendous because she does look just like her.
I never believed though that tape was stolen. To this day, I don't believe it.
I don't either. I mean, at that point, Tommy wasn't doing much. You know what I'm saying? The band was pretty much for at that point anyway. It's not like they were touring anymore. So he was just blowing money. That's what I realized. And I think that was the best thing he could ever did was figure, get her the hottest chick in the world. Everybody's talking about her on Baywatch, what was the #1 show probably at that time. And wouldn't you know it, he's like, fuck it, I'm going to fuck her. And I'm going to videotape it and put it out there.
Yeah.
I mean, and there it goes. I mean, he made, I don't know, they must have both made a ton of fucking cash somehow off of it. Well, I know at least she got publicity from it. That was crazy.
You're big. I'm big. Not as big as you. We're two big guys. We ain't lugging a full gun safe on a dolly and lifting it into a car. The two of us together are not taking that big fucking thing, taking it out of a house, just pushing it. Not one guy who's a fucking a carpenter is not jacking it. Those safes are thousands of pounds. One guy ain't stealing a safe.
Besides that, like he wouldn't notice it missing for what, 3 weeks, 4 weeks or something.
Well, and they make it out too on the show like no one had internet. Everybody had that fucking dial-up internet. Prodigy had fucking message boards for ECW back in the day. I mean, they ain't gonna convince 7 months before they knew what was going on. Bullshit.
It was funny when you hear the dial-up. They just brought back memories. Like, oh my god.
What fucking Feinstein was selling that back in the day.
He probably was.
Everybody was. I didn't pay no $60. I paid like 10 or 15. Everybody bootlegged it. That's why I think they were like they had to have made money off it.
What do you think? I mean, I think
it's like Hogan's tape that nobody steals it. You leak it out yourself. I think Hogan leaked
I think that was. I think him and that guy.
Bubba.
Yeah, I think that was
all
a
plan.
Work.
Yep.
And they were able to. I'm telling you, man. I just think they finagled it, and it's Hogan's that smart. You know what I mean? And because he was already in the system once, fucking around with it, so he knows. You know what I mean? So they, so he probably figured, we can fucking do something with this. He didn't care. He was getting laid anyway.
Yeah, and think about it. He lost all that money in the divorce to Linda. Yeah. Now a year later, when she can't touch him for any more money, the tape gets stolen, and he's able to sue to get all these hundreds of millions back. Now that's a plan.
And then what? Grinder was it one or something? They had to go out of business because by paying him off.
Yeah, that's I can't think of the name of the company either, but that's I mean, fuck.
Gender Grind. It was something sort of with a G or something.
It's a porn company, and and Bubba just have to pretend to not be friends in public, and then they all got paid.
I thought it was funny how they were going to everybody, all the Vivid. They'd end up at Vivid last, but they would start. Then they would go hit all the underground places where they get pornos and shit. Like, there's a lot of them places around, dude. Back in the day, I remember back in the day, like pornos that you're not allowed, you shouldn't have. You know what I'm saying? Some sick shit. So, but they would fucking get them out, and they would sell them. I remember I went to New York one time, and we went with Raven and a bunch of the ECW guys, and we went in this one huge warehouse, and like the whole bottom floor was a nightclub. Then you'd go to the second floor, and the whole entire floor is like a swingers club. Like they're doing crazy. You'll see crazy shit in there, like bitches tied up, and getting beat and shit like that. And then there was a third floor, and I remember, we were just fucking. By then we were so drunk, and we're like, "Yo, should we go up? What's on the third floor?" We're asking the bouncer. He looked at us, man. He goes, "Man, you don't want to go to the third floor." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Dude, there's a bunch of, fucking guys up there naked and shit. You don't want to be up there." He just said, "You guys don't want to be up there." And I was just like, "Wow, this place is that crazy?" He's like, dude, the bouncer was insane. He was just telling me, like, if this is nuts, this is crazy. Because I'm used to Philadelphia. We're in the back alleys of New York City, fucking Manhattan, running around there one night. We had no choice, man. We parked our cars. The two cars we took, we parked in a lot that closed at 12. So that's when we realized, fuck it, we're going to do a 24-hour party now. Can't get the car until next morning. So we just hit every club. The Vault, it was called. That's the one that was crazy. There was a lot of crazy places there.
Yeah, anytime a tape of anyone gets leaked out, I always smell work.
Yeah, I mean, Kim Kardashian did it too.
Tanya Harding had one. I remember hers was on a tripod. I liked hers.
She needed the money, man. I commend her. She needed the cash.
Yeah, that's X-Pac in China had one. What, a night in China or something like that. I remember I watched it because everybody's like, this proves that China has a dick. And I was like, she's not a man. And then, I watched the video. It's like her labia is just the size of my forearm, probably from all the steroids that she did. It's stretch. It's like, that's not a dick. I was like, her lips are just that stretched out down there. I was like, but other than that, she was hot. I thought China was real hot.
I thought she was.
I mean, when she had the surgery, after she had like her jaw fixed, so she looked like Sergeant Slaughter's kid.
Oh yeah.
Boobs. She was really pretty.
Needed that. That was from when she had that growing up. She had that jaw, real wide jaw. I was like, damn. And she did make it. That made a huge difference when she got that fixed.
Got her boobs done, which I think it was mandatory for Vince back in the day. But
oh yeah, he made everybody. And the girls that didn't want to do it, they ended up getting fired.
Yeah.
I mean, it sucks, but
Stephanie had hers done.
The boss's daughter, she's had more than that.
But do you think, let me get your opinion. Do you think Triple H really started fucking around with her because she was Stephanie, try to get some power? Or do you think he just, good looking girl, he met her and they fell in love?
Nah. I think that's a possibility. But knowing this business and the people in our business, I wouldn't hesitate for a second to say that he was already going out with China.
Yeah.
At the time. And Stephanie was sending him love letters. So he had a choice to make. You know what I mean? And he figured, I'm going to make sure I'm taken care of. And he did what probably anybody would have done who had half a brain, and that's go out with the boss's daughter. But he was also taking a big chance too, because if you remember, man, Vince, I remember would say, don't fucking look, like he didn't want his daughter messing around with no wrestler, period, none. And it just so happened to happen that way. He couldn't fight it after it happened. You know what I mean? But I know he wasn't happy about it, because now look where Triple H is. He's in a position of power. Vince never wanted that. I mean, between you and me, I don't think he ever did.
See, me personally, if I was like a worker at the time, if I was wrestling there and I was like scheming, I'd be trying to get to Linda. That's the money. Stephanie ain't the money. Linda's the money.
Yeah.
I'd have been trying to get with Linda.
I'm not saying that's a bad idea.
That's where my mind's thinking.
I'm thinking that's a good idea too. But then again, if you got snagged, you know what I mean? You're fired, dude. I mean, there ain't no, I don't care what Linda says, you ain't coming back. It's up to Vince. So
see, at the time, Bischoff would have hired you because he'd have found it funny.
Yeah.
I mean, you had to, because he hired Nails, remember? Because Nails had choked out Vince, Kevin, or whatever, and he never,
Yeah.
another one of these guys, never once on TV, never a match, got a check for 3 years, every 2 weeks. I just don't get it.
Who was that, Nails?
Yeah.
Well, at the time, I heard he got fired. That's what I had heard. And it was because he wasn't there that long. I heard if somebody was there, and he was mad because he was only getting a certain amount of money. And I think the boss man was making like $5,000 that night.
Yeah, he was getting like quadruple what Nails was getting, which is,
But Nail just started.
yeah, and Boss Man was already established. He was already went into the big face.
This is what I heard from a source that was there. He was in a referee position, and they, he knew he went. He said that he went in Vince's office and started talking to him and said, "What the fuck? Why am I not getting paid this much?" But Vince told him, "Because you're not there yet." You know what I mean? Where the big boss man's been there, and it was over. It was over money, and I don't know if they got in a fight or what the situation was, but yeah, the Nails ended up rolling, and then WCW picked them up.
Yeah, like years later, just because Bischoff thought it was funny that he choked Vince, so he gave him a job where he didn't have to work, but he got paid.
Really, I worked with him in Australia.
He's a big guy.
Yeah, he was the heavyweight champ in Hardcore Championship Wrestling. It was in Melbourne, Australia. We were there. I was there about 9 months, almost a year, and then we folded. But we were doing really well. We had Nails as our champ. The Bruise Brothers were there. Samoans were there. Pitbulls were there. They had some pretty good single wrestlers. They're not with us anymore. Like the Canadian Tiger was there. The big giant from New York, I forget his name. He worked there. We had a pretty good company, man. Hawk was there from the Road Warriors. He was working with us there. I had a blast there, and we were pulling good numbers, 12 and 13, right before rugby on a Saturday or Sunday, whenever they would show it. And we were doing well, man. And we would work Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We would fly from Melbourne. We would always do TV in Melbourne because we stayed there. So we would do Melbourne, Adelaide, Brisbane, and then Sydney, and then back to Melbourne. So it was great. I wanted to move there. At one point, I'm like, you know what? If this is going this well, and we're making that good money, a check every week, good cash, I don't even need a fucking car where I'm at. They're paying for my place to live. So I could walk everywhere I needed to go to. I could walk with no problem. And to me, it was great, man. We had a gym to go to. The guy let us train there for free. I mean, Australia was awesome. I mean, it had like a little Italy, a little Chinatown. Melbourne itself was like New York, where we were, because we were right there. I mean, I walked out of we stayed at a Holiday Inn Super Suites. It was like, they're like places that you stay for a while in, like a condo or a townhouse. It's kind of like, you got a kitchen, a living room, bedroom, huge bathroom. So it was pretty cool. And as soon as I walk out, it's like you look down, like in your Manhattan, you'll see the shows for the Hollywood show, the live shows and shit like that. And it was pretty cool because we had casinos right down the street too. So when we do press conferences for the television show, we would do them in the casinos. And then the casino VIP guys would be cool. Like, they're like, can we get in on this? And we'll bring them in to shoot. Next thing you know, they give us cards, VIP cards. So, I mean, I didn't even have to pay for food then. If I wanted to, every night I could have went to the casino and ate for free. That's how cool it was living there. I mean, we didn't take advantage of it all the time, but I would eat there at least 4 nights a week easily. You know what I mean?
I still think there's money to start a wrestling company that's exclusively in a casino, like Vern Gagne when he was at the Showboat. I think Glow was at the Riviera and all that. I think there could be money there, steady gig.
Yeah, I mean,
Find the right casino that needs, basically
a right,
show
a
every
right
night.
casino that likes what they see. I never thought of that shit, man. They can buy it, bang, and do a shit. Ooh, that
Buy
would
a ring, you get the same guys. You have matches
that's what I'm saying. It's like
five nights a week. Say you're not
that's
traveling. There's
that's
money there.
that's yeah, but anybody in that area, all independents in that area, bro, they're gonna lose their ass. Something like that. It's a good
People get
idea
mad when
though.
I always would say, like, years ago, I used to always support all the indie stuff until I came to realize a lot of the indie stuff is shit that you shouldn't support.
Yeah, it's getting to be that way. I notice every day I see something new, some new indie show or something on Facebook they're promoting that's new, and I'm just like, oh shit. But all I see is the guys. Mostly, I see guys from there that lost jobs from Vince.
Yeah.
They're getting all the independent work now. People don't realize how many guys have been fired.
Yeah. Mike Bennett was here for one of our locals last night. But the dumb thing is, and it tells me how short-sighted the local promoter is. This is our guy who owns a company, but he's also he's the owner, he's the booker, he's the champion. So he was the one that wrestled Bennett. Who gives a fuck about bring in Maria Canales? Bring her in. She'll draw you more for an autograph than fucking nobody knows who fuck Mike Bennett was. Everybody cared about Maria.
Dude, they
get
want
his
to
wife there.
Listen, I realize this, and I'm not. I mean, come on, it doesn't take a rocket scientist, but I was going to autograph signings and bringing in, I don't know, $1,500, $1,000. All of a sudden, I started seeing it go down and lower and lower and lower, and I didn't realize until I was at WrestleCon, and I remember just turning like around and just looking to over my shoulder, and there had to be a whole row, had to be 50 to 60 girls, a huge bunch of tables just lined up behind us, and I'm with Bob Orton, Barbarian, Abdul the Butcher, Abby was there, Bobby Fulton, and I'm turning around, I'm just like, and it's packed over there, and these girls are half naked, you know what I'm saying? And they were getting all the, I'm telling you, every guy was there. They were getting pictures of the girls. And I sat back, and that's when I realized, holy shit, man, like the girls is where it's at. So
Yeah.
it's like, I mean, shit, the next signing I'm going to, I'm bringing a new valet who's hot as hell, jacked and looks good. And I'm going to try to get her. She's hot. Maybe I'll get more pictures. I'll throw more fucking shots. You know what I'm saying? So that's the whole idea. I even told people, I said, fuck, I'm going to go to the strip club that's near wherever the venue is, and I'll hire two chicks and say, here's $100 each. Come with me.
That's The Godfather. Remember that gimmick? That's all he did. He went to, because I know the girls that he used when they came here for Raw. He'd go to a strip club, here's a couple hundred for the night, and he just needs you 4 hours. And that's all you got to do.
Oh, they loved it because they didn't have to dance in front of anybody. They didn't have to take their clothes off. No. So
got a nice payday. Probably got a nice meal. They're on TV.
I think they were probably giving them girls. Well, they would give back in the day. They would give us guys $150 a night to do jobs. But that was if you worked or you didn't work. You still got paid as long as you were there. So I don't know. Back then, they were probably getting maybe $200 each.
It ain't bad though to walk down to 20 minutes work?
Oh yeah.
What do they usually pay the guys? And I know because I recognize a lot. Every company does it. Well, by every now I mean like Vince and AEW. When they have the security or the EMTs come out, it's always usually a local indie guy that they have dressed up. Do they get paid pretty decent for that shot, or is it just kind of like, here's $50 and we'll let you have a match for us in the dark to see if you're any good?
I don't know how it is now. Back in the day, you would get at least $150. I'm talking late 80s. You'd get like $50. Then it went up to 150. Late 80s was $150 for Vince. I mean, and that was one time I carried Macho Man and Sherry when he won King of the Ring, and he was on that throne sitting there, and me and Anthony are right in the front. You know, you look in the magazine, you'll see me and Anthony, we're just two jabronis, man, carrying Macho Man to the ring, you know, when he was the king. We got paid that day. You know what I mean?
If you go back and watch, and I never knew until I saw it on YouTube, I think it was WrestleMania 22. The main event, Cena was the main event, and Cena came down in like it was like a kind of a gangster. It had the muscle cars. They had like all the gangsters with the Tommy guns out there to lead Cena. One of them was CM Punk. And I always thought that was funny because somebody was like, here's CM Punk's closest chance of being a main event at WrestleMania. And it was just him as one of the random guys. So I think I've seen MJF as a random guy in a couple of videos too. But what do you think of MJF's promo on Wednesday night?
Crazy.
I mean, like it's got to be a work because there's not going to make him sympathetic. But you know, the way sitting there, he's like, yeah, and they called me Jew boy and I cried and all. It's like, what the fuck? I mean, it was a good promo, but I'm like, where's this going?
I don't know. It was like a roller coaster. I don't know what he was doing with that.
And Punk was like, are you serious? Are you serious? Like, you know, it's got to be a swerve just because of the character. But I mean, that was a good promo.
His promos are good. I can't fucking say they're not good. He shocks me sometimes. You know, somebody's got to be helping him. He's not just coming off with it. I think they're definitely giving him an itinerary to follow. You know what I mean? And he's just, you know, he flows. He just does it good. I can't say that I used to be a hater, but now I see what, you know, I didn't know what he could do. I didn't know anything about it. I just knew he did indies and that was it. You know, but I've seen his, like, from even his body, he put size on his body too.
Yeah.
He's been working out. You know, that's about, so I said last time, you know, all the guys over there, you could tell are putting time in the gym. And that's a good thing. You know,
My guy wasn't on TV this week again. A man, I can plug Dan Housen.
Oh yeah. What do you know? He came out.
He's come out twice, like from under the ring, and that's it. It's like,
didn't he come out last on Friday night?
I don't know. You know what? I ain't gonna lie to you. I haven't finished watching Friday night. I got up to the I
Friday.
saw the Guevara fight with Andrade, who I fucking hate Andrade, but let me rephrase it. I don't hate Andrade, like I don't know him, but here's a guy looks like $1 million. Good body, great dresser, nice jewelry. He can wrestle, but he can't talk because his English is piss poor. His interviews stink. So they have him on TV every week talking and doing nothing else. That's the most ass backward booking I've ever seen.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing with that. And I think he's got to be like third generation. That's what I had heard. So he comes from a wrestling family.
I don't get the mask though. You know, he wears the mask and then he takes it off. It's like,
I would make up your mind. Wear it. I think the mask is cool as hell.
Oh, hell yeah. It's a black mask from the Batman. I noticed that right away. I was like, hey, it's so neat. He's dressed like the black. Oh, he took it off. What the fuck is this? You know, that didn't make any sense. It was like when Al Snow was Avatar. He'd take it off and then he put it back on. It was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. But no, they had a good match, him and Sammy.
I love Sammy.
Sammy works his ass off, bro. I got to give him that. You know, he does work his ass off. He every night he's in that ring, he goes 150%. Like sometimes I'm just like, dude, you're just doing too much. Like, oh my God.
What'd you think of Eddie and Jericho?
Eddie Guerrero and Jericho?
No, Eddie Kingston and Jericho, their promo back and forth.
That was good.
I like Eddie.
It was good because, like I said, Eddie's a shooter when it comes to the mic. So he's going to tell, most of the time, he's going to tell you what he thinks about you. And he hates everybody. I mean, I know him personally. He used to come to my school all the time and work out. And he's cool to me. Like, I've known him forever. Haven't seen him in a long time, but I'm glad he got the break. He needed it.
I like how he looks like a plumber. I think even Jericho referenced that he looked like, because Jericho, I mean, people laugh at Jericho because he's gained weight and all that. Was he in his 50s? He don't look bad for a guy in his 50s.
No, he's in his 50s. I think I'm gonna be, I'm 54. I think Chris is, he just turned 50
Yeah,
recently.
he looks good for his age. I would,
Yeah.
if I was him, I would get out of the leather pants probably, or color all of my hair. But no, I just kind of liked how they had it. You know, he's all in leather and Nike shoes and everything.
Yeah.
Kingston's in a sweater, a hat, baggy khaki pants. You know, it just looked like shit. You know, but the promo he cut was. I believe that he hated Jericho. It was very believable. It probably does.
Right? I'm telling you, he shoots on them. That's what he does. He shoots from the hip when he does his promos, and that's what got him over. I mean, because he would tell you the truth. You know, he never held back. That's one thing that I did notice. When I would see a clip of NWA and when he was working for them, his promos got him over there. You know, and I would listen to him saying, pretty soon, man, somebody's going to grab him because his promos are awesome. You know, and they're only getting better. So
I just don't get why it's so short term. Like he had him and CM Punk had good promos. They had a good match done. You know, it's like in AEW, they have like one match finished. You know, I don't get why there's no long-term story there.
I don't know. I think he had to go get some surgery. I think he had to get some shit fixed. Maybe his knee or something. I'm just guessing. That's why I think he took some time off, you know, before they brought him back, and now they got him doing something else. But yeah, I agree with you. I mean, fuck, man, I did a run with Shane Douglas for, it had to be a year and a half.
Well, Raven and Dreamer had what, 5 years, 3, 4, 5 years.
That's what I'm saying.
Run this stuff for a while. Just run it till it gets old.
Even Vince used to do the same thing. You know what I mean? I knew Saturday morning what was coming on, and I knew the story ahead of time. I'm just now waiting for the next part of the story. When I was a kid, I used to watch it with my grandpa. I never thought I'd be a wrestler. You know what I mean? At that point, I'm looking at them guys. They're monsters at that point. You know, we're Ken Patera and superstar Billy Graham.
The innovator of steroids, Billy Graham.
Oh, yeah, Ivan Putski, and, you know, guys that are like monsters, size. And everybody was big. Nobody was small. You know, I mean, it was totally different.
That's what I wanted to be when I was a kid, but I realized no matter what amount of shit I put in my body, I was going to be no taller than Dean Malenko. And at the time, that was the, you know, 6 foot something business. So
yeah, it took a little time, but then I think the British Bulldogs actually broke that part for the little guys to get in the business. As long as they were built and you had some size to you, you can get away with your height being short. You know what I mean? Because you were powerful. So, and then there you go with Jericho, Chris Benoit, Dean Malenko, Eddie Guerrero, you know, all them guys.
I look like Andre next to Malenko. I met Malenko. I seriously, I look like Andre the Giant next to him.
I met Dean the first time I was in North Carolina. He was tagging with his brother in Japan at the time. And he just came over, I guess, because Tokyo Joe was swapping some talent between George Scott and Paul Jones. You know what I mean? So they must have been doing something, because they would pop up. Other people from Japan would pop up, and we got to wrestle them. And that's what helped us get over there. It was like more or less like a test. You know what I mean? Because Tokyo Joe would be there and he'd be watching. So if he didn't like something, he would say, you know, look, you guys start doing more suplexes, you guys start doing more this, more that. So then next time I come up, I want to see it. And I'd be like, okay, cool, you know, understand. So Dean came down once, and they're like, oh yeah, you're working Dean Malenko tonight. I'm like, so they split me and Anthony up just to split us up. They do that sometimes with spot shows. And this was for Paul Jones and George Scott. And he's like, yeah, so you worked Dean. And I'm like, well, so I'm a baby face and he's a baby face. How's this going to go down? That's how green I was at that point. So I just went up to Dean, introduced myself. He said hello, you know, he was cool. I even told him, I said, listen, I said, I guess I'm going to learn something tonight because I don't understand. I'm used to babyface versus heel. Now it's babyface versus babyface. You know, I'm sure you know what you're doing, so I'm just going to follow you. You know, he was just like, dude, I got you. You know what I mean? He went over a little bit of things, went over the finish and everything else we did out in there in the ring, and it was awesome. And we did about 30-minute match. And the finish was shoot me in, tackle, drop down, leapfrog. My head hits him in the nuts by accident. He takes a bump to the ground. I take advantage, pull him up, 1, 2, 3. And that's how it was. And it was just like, fuck, okay, that's a great finish just to come out of the blue like that. You know what I mean? Just surprise the people, you know, because we were going back and forth and we had the people, you know, we both had the people. So it was cool. I did learn, I learned something that night for sure. That how to be babyface match.
Because there ain't many of them. There's even less heel versus heel, which to me, the last heel versus heel that's memorable to me would have been it was still NWA, was the Midnight Express Four Horsemen, when it was just, you know, they couldn't stand each other anymore. And Arn until he left, though, you know, so it didn't have a long run, but that's the last really big heel thing I can think of.
Yeah, but then you look at, you know, Steve Austin. He was a heel, but he got over as a babyface.
Oh, yeah, that was genius how they flipped him and Brett. I mean, that was just genius in that match where he wouldn't. I love that. You know, he's bleeding and he wouldn't give up. He passed out, and then Hart's got to kick him when he's down, and then right there they just switched it. I mean, that was some genius. But yeah, I mean, I was like everybody else. I was cheering Austin. Fuck Bret Hart. He was hilarious.
He was good. Did you see when he wrestled Owen? Owen hit him, almost broke his freaking neck.
Yeah, that was. I think he held a grudge against that too.
That was a dangerous spot. I mean, you know, I've seen Scott Steiner do that to people, and he does it from a suplex position. It's just a dangerous move. I mean, period. I don't think anybody should even do it to anybody.
No, and Austin's head was like, if this was Owen's legs, you know, usually you're up here. His head was already down here. He was fucked from the get-go on that tombstone. Bro, he's lucky he's not dead or in a chair.
Yeah. I really was like, oh shit. Because I looked at his back and it looked like you could see like his spine, the trauma go down his spine. Like it was freaked me. I couldn't believe he was able to walk. I thought his neck was broke. God forbid, man. I was in shock. Because I was even like, what the fuck is he doing? I'm saying to myself, like, oh shit.
They had to do it. He finished that match. He had to do that like real weak, that little roll up where he just had him like that. You know, I mean, it was like, yeah, you knew something was wrong right away. I always look for two when they throw up the, you know, the X. I mean, I learned long ago if they do that, that means this guy's really hurt. So if I'm watching a match, it's like, God, is that guy okay? And then if you don't see anything, no, he's fine like that.
Dude, you got to look up like some old WWF footage, and you'll see some stuff from the Rockers.
They paralyzed that guy with the rocker drop. Marty did it, yeah.
And then I forget what they were called. They wore the purple capes. Two big fucking dudes. I forget what their gimmick was. I think they almost broke this dude's neck too, where they throw the guy up and he pushes his head down and he's supposed to sit out with it. Like the guy's head hit before any part of anybody's body touched the thing. I was just, holy shit. Like I see some bad, like I just saw another one where somebody did a backdrop or something and the guy landed on his head. I'm like, what is he doing?
How about Sabu when Benoit flipped him and he just went, bump. But they replayed that so much and slowed it down. You know, I think they made it look a little worse than it was. But his head hit that mat hard.
His forearm hit, but his head did hit. You know what I mean? And that shit happens, man. You know, when I broke my neck, I mean, I was out cold for a second or two. I mean, because when I remember looking up and it was completely white, so I figure I was out. You know, it was all I did. I heard pop, and just laying there. I remember once I was able to see, I didn't move my head, but I moved my toes and my fingers first. And I'm like, okay. I said, I can move my limbs, so maybe I'm all right. Let me just try to roll. So I tried real carefully to roll. So that's when I thought maybe I just jammed it, because then I went in the back and the wild Samoans are like, Samu's checking my neck and twisting it. And thank God they didn't adjust it or anything. I would have died right there.
Oh, you'd ended up like Luger. I think that's what happened to him. He kept trying to crack it and he just got really fucked up.
Is that how it happened?
Yeah, I've heard mixed stories, but I heard he was like on a plane. This is at least what he says. He was like on a plane. His neck really hurt. He did the old, the gimmick, which I do all the time. Crack, and he made it worse or something. Then he had to go and have some kind of spinal surgery, and that didn't go as planned. And I think there's more to it than that, because you don't go from looking like him to months later looking like you aged 50 years just because of a neck issue. I think there's a little more to that story than anyone's saying.
Yeah, I mean, didn't that happen like right after Melissa? I mean,
Elizabeth, it was shortly after, yeah. And I think they found I'm surprised he didn't go to jail. I mean, they found her dead with all that. They found so much shit in that house. I mean, from downers, uppers, roids, needles, and nothing. He didn't serve a day in prison.
So no charges were filed?
Nothing. There's money there. Money talks.
Well, that, and it's like, I guess the police, I mean, he can't tell her what not to take. She's going to take what she wants to take. You know what I mean?
Soma, I think she was taking. So she's taking Soma with wine.
Oh, yeah.
I like Somas.
Yes.
I need about 4 or 5 of them, but I liked them.
Love them.
Just kind of all at once, you just like.
They help. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be able to sleep. Unfortunately, I need to take them to sleep.
Oh, I liked them. I enjoy. I don't understand how guys like Spicoli were doing 100 a day, but
that's when you're out of control.
3-4 was
too
good
much,
for me.
man. I remember last time I had an actually conversation with Spicoli. We were in Boston, and we flew in, and I'm like, we're downstairs in the lobby, and I'm like, where the fuck you been? I haven't seen you in hours since we got on the plane. He never got off the plane. When I got off the plane, like I figured he was already off or whatever. He was all so stomached up back then. He would take so many of them that they could not wake him up to get him off the plane. So they had to take him right to the hospital. And they poured charcoal down his throat or something and made him vomit. And I guess he threw up and he came to. He's like, I'm like, what the fuck? Because I was dead, man. I just came back. I'm like, what? But he was a great guy, man. He was funny as shit.
So talented too, naturally gifted athlete too.
Yeah, you wouldn't think so, but he was big without working out. Like he was just a big athletic person, man.
Look, he wrestled in Mexico as Madonna's boyfriend. He kept up with luchadors with that frame of his. I mean, I always liked him, and then. But you heard all the drug stories. So when you heard he OD'd on 200 pills at once, it's like no shock. It makes sense.
Yeah, like I said, it was like, see, an ECW was such a cloud dust in my mind. Like I'd be like, I thought Spicoli already passed away, but no, he was there. You know what I mean? Sometimes I'm like, I don't understand. Like I can't keep up thinking. It's hard to keep. Especially my partners and his death and everybody else's, it's crazy. Everybody was so young.
What was the other stuff? You used to be able to buy it legally. It was like a drink. GHB, yeah, the date rape thing. I remember you'd take that and then you try to stay awake and then you'd be really, yeah, I remember that because you used to go to GNC used to sell it, I believe. I used to buy it at once in a while.
Yes, I'll give you a funny story about GHB. My friend was over yesterday and he brought it up. So I'll share it with you. Right. So we're in the back of the locker room in at the arena, and fucking Raven comes in, opens his bag, and he's like pulls his bottle out, and he's like, "What the fuck, man? I'm missing like this much. There's this much GHB gone. Where the fuck's it at? Who took my GHB?" Next thing you know, we're looking around. There's Sonny on the chair, passed the fuck out, pissed herself. Okay, pissed herself too at the same time. Fucking wasted. We're like, oh, there it is. Now we know who took your GHB. Right there.
How come now Chris stayed with ECW for a while? How come she was in and out? Did Paulie just not want her around?
Well, I think, was she going back and forth to Vince or something?
I don't know. I remember after they were both gone from there, they ended up in WCW. Then they got fired for that. Somebody was saying that she might have went through somebody's bags. It's all stories, rumors. But by the time she went to WCW, she was wearing granny panties when they pulled her pants off at that point. It was like she was really. I remember Paulie played the video of her and like this was WWF Sunny, and it showed the footage and everything. And Smoky Mountain. Now she's a drug. It's like she's like Inside Edition. I was like, this is low even for Paul Heyman, trying to get her over. And then she's gone a couple weeks later. It was like, well, fuck. Because Cornette says he's the one that mailed Paulie the tapes, and Paulie still owes him the money for the postage. I can kind of see that. Who would win in a fight, Cornette or Paul Heyman?
That'd be good. I would watch that fight.
Paulie's not in good shape.
Cornette's not either.
He's not nice. Cornette's not that fat anymore. He's older,
I'll
though.
put it this way. I'll give it to Cornette if he has the tennis racket. If he has the tennis racket, I'll take Cornette in that fight. Tennis racket, phone, I think the tennis racket's going to win.
Yeah, because you can whirl that around more, you get more reach.
I mean, that'll be the fight. Him swinging his tennis racket, and Paul will pick up his phone and be like, throwing his phone around, and they'd probably make $1 million on it.
Well, I know Cornette had a hot temper, like he wasn't afraid to fight anybody, but Paulie more of a worker. Like he's just going to make you. Doesn't want to get in a fight with you.
No, I don't think Paul wants to fight anybody. No. Because at one point we were like his dogs for ECW. Like if somebody was out of line, like even in the crowd, if somebody was out of line in the crowd, he would say, like, I remember he said, "Man, come here. He said, see that motherfucker?" He's pointing right in the motherfucking, right on the camera, because we have the camera in the back and we're watching it. And he's right around the ring. He's like right there on the right side of the ring. You see that motherfucker? We're like, yeah. He goes, get him the fuck out of here. So I remember just going out there, and you gotta remember at that point we were so amped up. We were flying on everything. The place was packed. So just the adrenaline alone. I just remember getting my chain, and they were no light chains, and wrapping around that motherfucker's neck as I twisted it. So when I went around I had it locked. Flipped them right over the guardrail. And I laid in at least 3-4 shots in them. And then here comes the security, the cops. Like we had the security at our place wasn't like other security. We had to hire.
You had Atlas, didn't you?
Well, yeah, but before Atlas, we had the state. They're like the badasses of the Pennsylvania state troopers. They got the high boots up to the knees.
Mm-hmm.
Like these motherfuckers, you don't fuck with these guys. They ride the horses and shit. You just don't fuck with these cops. They will fucking fuck you up. So that's who it was. Then what happened was they wouldn't let the cops do it anymore to make extra money. So we had to hire a company called Atlas Security, which came out of New York City. And they ended up becoming our full-time security. They would actually travel with us. So it was actually good because, it's good when you got security guys that you know, and they would do anything for us. You know what I mean? Like, I need a bottle of water. I need anything for us. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes I'd work a match, and I know if I knew it was going to be a long match, I would say, listen, around 3, 4, 5 minutes in the match, come out and put a bottle of water on that table. So if I take a bump, I'll grab that water and take a sip. I would do all kinds of shit like that.
Yeah, they had, and then WWE, I know I said they had sometimes they would try to work angles with security, but it didn't work. But I never saw in ECW, like, the crowd was hot, but they seemed to be pretty respectful at the arena in the same sense.
Oh yeah, the arena fans is they're totally different fans than anybody else. Like they're smart fans. I call them smart marks because you're not going to bullshit them. You can't bullshit those fucking people at the arena because they will shit on you so fast and they'll call you out on it. You know, if you fuck up, you're going to hear you fucked up. And it's never happened to me, but it's happened to a lot of other people. That's something you don't want to hear. I want to hear holy shit. That's what I want to hear. Or oh my God. You know what I mean? What Joey Styles made famous.
How was Joey? Was he a
Great.
good guy? I don't think he's involved in wrestling at all anymore, is he?
Listen, man, he would go out of his way. Because he'd come up to me and say, all right, Gary, because every time me and Anthony wrestled, we'd come up with a new move. And we would do a double move and just do a new one. So we had it in our arsenal, and you know, we had every week we would do 3-4 different moves in each match, knowing we got a fucking, you know, a list of 50 of them we can use. You know what I'm saying? That's how we wanted to do it. And that's what we would do. And he would come up every night and be like, "Oh, you guys are working. Do I need to know anything?" And I'd be like, yeah, we're going to do this new move. It's called the guillotine. Boom. You know, when I know we do it, knocks out Stevie Richards. Knocked him out cold. I'm laying there and I'm looking at him. He's snoring. I can he's breathing right on me. I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm like, wake up. I'm smacking. Wake up. But yeah, that's what Joey would do. He would always come up and say, is there anything I need to know? Because I don't want to miss anything. I want to make sure I'm on everything. That's how he was on everything. He would meet up with everybody and sit down with them, and he would ask them like, how's your match going to flow? And this way I know what to do. You know what I mean? He was a good commentator.
He was.
Great commentator. Great. Like he put everything into it. I mean, he didn't need a second guy. He was able to do it all by himself. You know, where now there's 2 or 3 guys sitting at a table doing commentating. There's not even enough time for each person to say something.
No, they talk over each other. Jericho and Taz talk over each other all Friday. That's why I hardly ever watch the Friday show. It's annoying.
It's a mess. And again, they're putting Hook over again.
He dropped every one of QT Marshall. I saw that. 10 of QT's security guys or students, and Hook laid them all out and then just did the walk back.
Now, why didn't they have somebody pull out a bat or something? I was in a blackjack, popped him with it, knocked his ass out.
Would have work it, beat him down,
left him there laying,
and do it
up, laying. Then when he comes back, he could come back the Spirit of 76 gimmick. His head's wrapped up. He's got all these stitches. He'd get over more.
Have Taz come save him.
No. That's a Taz.
I like Taz. I mean, Taz.
I have no problem with Pete, man.
Taz looks very wide. I don't want to see Taz wrestle in his old gear, so to speak.
Last time I seen Taz, he looked at me and said, "Gar, don't fucking break my balls. I know I'm a fat fuck. All right, I gained like 70 pounds. Don't break my balls. Just go do this promo for me." I was like, okay.
I would have Taz and Excalibur. That would be my commentary team, because it's stupid. I think that he wears a mask, because what's an announcer need a gimmick for? But he's a good announcer. He knows the names of all the moves. Him and Taz. That's who I would have. And Shivani could be the interview guy. Maybe JR do some backstage, because they're paying Mark Henry just to go, it's time.
He does the main event. I don't even see.
I don't see Big Show forever.
I think they just hired Big Show for muscle.
Yeah.
I mean, look how big he is. I mean, come on.
I think they figured he was going to come to the ring and everybody was going to, it's the Big Show's back, and nobody cared.
He can't walk, bro. His knees are done. He had his time. He went to the Monster Factory. He went after me. This is years after me. But if they would, I mean, honestly, he's lucky they used him the way they used him, because he wouldn't be walking today. You know what I'm saying? Because he was able to do drop kicks and he could do all this shit. He's very athletic. for being so big. But they always, like Vince McMahon would always say, choke slam, choke slam. That's all I want to see.
Yeah, he knew how to use the big guys. He always was good with that.
And he gives them longevity, which gave them a long career. I mean, he made millions and millions and millions, and he saved a ton of it. He's set for life. He don't even need to be working right now, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't know.
What could he be doing?
I really thought that they figured he's going to cut, like when he came to fight QT Marshall at that pay-per-view, like, oh, and all the big show, and he's going to get this ovation, and nobody can. Their audience is not tailor-made for that stuff. They want to see the lucha, the flippy, and the stuff and all that.
Well,
I mean, see the big show.
QT's a friend of mine. He went to the Monster Factory. I mean, I go back with him, and he's been waiting a long time to get his break, and I'm glad he did.
He's a good talker.
He's a good on the mic. Yeah, I mean, like I said, he's been a Monster Factory guy, so, and he's one of the guys that made it, and I give him all the props. But like I said, I mean, some of these guys, like, they got to do a better job than what they're doing. You know what I mean? It's like you're making Hook look so good right now, but look how young he is, man. He's still got his whole life yet. And he's already making him look like Superman. I mean, come on. I would have it built up. I mean, remember fucking I'll give you an example. X-Pac. He was the 1, 2, 3 kid.
3 kid, Lightning Kid. He had so many names.
Okay, he would be on TV. I remember coming home from high school, man, and turn the TV on, and the next thing I know, I see this fucking kid.
Cannonball Kid.
Yes. You know what I mean? And I'm like, what the fuck? But like I said, they took him and they worked with. He was doing great until he ran into Nash and Hall. That's when everything went downhill. Because, I mean, he never even had a drink in his life until he met them two guys.
And he was, like you said, he started off, he was a loser. When he beat Razor, a cheap pin, he hooked the tights, he ran away and everything. He wasn't if they would have had him do a kip up and after the Razor's Edge, everybody would have shit on it.
No, yeah. But I mean, I would have, like I said, I know Taz is happy because his kid's working and he's happy about it. I just think they got to bring him up a little differently. Like he could have did what he did last night, but I would have had him laid out after that. Laid out, and got some color, get some sympathy. This way people would really, really get into it. I heard he's got a lot of fans. You know what I mean?
Oh, God, he's over his shit.
That's what I'm saying. So imagine if he got laid out to where they had to put him in a stretcher, put him in an ambulance. How many letters would have been thrown at that hospital or wherever, whatever gimmick they did. But that's what I would have did. I would have had him destroyed. Young kid, be all over. I'd make it seem like almost a shoot, even though it's not. You know what I'm saying?
Well, even Hogan in the 80s, he always was the Superman in the ring, but to start the feud, he would get laid out, bloodied, stretchered out, everything, to where it was like, oh man, I don't think he's going to win this match. Even he was doing that.
Then he would start shaking. And that's I'm old school. So that's how I would have did it. I mean, I think what they did was good, but I would have added him being laid out, bloodied up, gushed up, actually have Taz get up and make an effort to try to save him. But
have him hit Taz too.
Yeah, and then beat Taz down as well. That right there would have been an angle, man. And whoever really did it, then Taz could have come up blood on his, and cut promos like, you touched my kid, my only fucking son. Now it's fucking on. You know what I mean? And they could have worked something out with somebody else. I mean,
could have had Taz and QT in the corners and everything. There's a lot.
We'll do the fuck the world belt Taz group, whatever, against the Monster Factory, the Factory group, whatever. You got a big angle there. You got enough guys where you could do a fucking cage match or something crazy. Put two rings together in a cage, like WCW used to do, or NWA used to do back in the day. There's
War games.
and people want to see that kind of shit.
I got it.
Something different.
I got an interesting question. You're doing another Legends convention.
Yeah.
When is that? Might as well plug it.
March 26th, Icons, and then I'm doing another one. I'm doing the 80s one, big one, May 5th.
Where's that one at? Are they both in Philly?
No, one's in Philly and one's in Upper Pennsylvania, I think.
Is Virgil ever at these things?
I haven't seen Virgil lately. I was on the road with Virgil maybe right before COVID hit. We were in Ohio and he happened to be there. Virgil's funny.
Have you seen the video at the convention? If not, I'll send it to you, where Scott Hall actually goes up to Virgil's table and just buries him on camera. Because like all of Virgil's pictures, it's pictures of him with the NWO, pictures of him with Tay's like, why are you always with other people in your pictures, Virgil? What is this? And then Virgil had like a figure of himself standing up, and Hall took it. He's like, let's put it on your back. That's how people remember you and all that. It's like, yeah, it's like calling him out for having pictures of other people and all that, kind of funny, but you can tell Virgil's kind of like getting pissed, but Scott Hall's still a big guy.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm not a bully, so I think Virgil's just having a rough time and just trying to survive.
One would think Virgil would have money. He had runs in both major companies.
I know. I think right now, what he does is like he'll sleep at people's houses. I don't know what's going on. I just heard he wasn't doing that well, and I don't think it's cool that you're gonna go break a guy's balls. He's just trying to make a buck.
He never has anyone at his tables. That's what I
some
think.
Of these guys, I mean, there's some guys in this business that are real fucking assholes. You know what I'm saying? And like I didn't even know some of them are assholes until recently. But
I think Bret Hart's the biggest asshole I ever met. I have no shame saying that.
He wasn't really in a great mood when I met him the first time either. And that's 1989, 88, when we were up there doing jobs and we had to wrestle them. Going over our match with him was like, don't do this, don't do that. And make sure you do this and make sure you do that. And we're like, okay, Of course, my partner don't listen. But yeah, he looked miserable. He looked like he was tired.
He always does, still does. And I still say the Montreal Screwjob is a giant work. I don't care what anybody says.
Oh, I think it's a work.
100% work.
Yeah, after seeing some of the shit that I've seen, yeah.
Let's say I'm Vince, and I'm gonna fuck you on pay-per-view.
Yeah.
I'm in control of the cameras, all the hard cameras. Why on the fuck would I have my cameraman zoom in on all this? Why would I have him zooming in on you spitting on me? Why would I have him zoomed in going WC? The feed goes black. Or better yet, if you guys haven't figured out what you're going to do for the end of the match, you're not going on.
Yeah.
That's actually and the announcers kind of knew too much what to say, where if I was commentating and a shoot broke out, I wouldn't say anything. What are you going to say?
You're going to be in shock.
Yeah. None of that. And plus everybody got a gimmick. That Mr. McMahon was created. Sean was the evil bad guy. Brett screwed Brett, and Brett was going off to work for $3 million a year. That was the phone. And conveniently, they're doing a documentary on him at the same time that the camera. It was so fucking fake. I've never bought into that for the life of me.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I bought into it, but then later on, I realized I got worked.
I mean, to me, it was like they all got a gimmick out of it. Mr. McMahon was born. And like I've always said, in TV production, which I used to study, you get the camera off of that. You're not going to be filming that and broadcasting him smashing up your shit.
You don't think Brett hit him in the face and gave him a black eye?
Now, how come that was the only part that was not seen on camera? Remember, he just came out of the office. I mean, he can sell a punch.
I know Vince. Vince will punch himself in the fucking eye if it's going to make him money.
And I could see Vince tying up with Brett. I don't
Oh,
think
yeah.
Vince would back down. Vince is bigger than Brett. I don't think he could take him
Yeah.
to fight, but he was bigger.
When I met Vince the first time, I was like, damn, this guy's jacked. He was big. I mean,
Still is.
he was thick. Like, you see his chest. I was just like, wow.
And what
Having
he's
balls
still,
that big, he could wrestle. I was like, what the fuck?
he's still massive.
Yeah. For 75, he looks fantastic, bro.
I
mean,
can't get over Enzo.
Enzo. Oh, Enzo got on some good shit. He got some good shit.
I need some good shit.
Yeah.
I'm relying on things that are taking too long. My neck ain't growing.
Yep. You just got to go with the flow, man. Sometimes you got to push yourself. That's all.
Yeah, I need to up the weights again this week. So,
But for this week, did you get to see South Park? I missed South Park.
no, it wasn't on this week. It's back this week.
Oh, it wasn't on.
No, it wasn't. I did watch Bel Air finally, the dramatic retelling of the Fresh Prince. Surprisingly very good.
Really?
Yeah, it's definitely worth a watch.
And what was that? Would you see that at?
Peacock's got that one.
Okay. I gotta check that out.
I want a dramatic Urkel, but right now I got to deal with the Fresh Prince. But Urkel sells weed now. It's called Purple Urkel.
Good for him, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Good for
Make a
him.
living off of that. If I was Urkel, I'd embrace that.
He probably is.
And I think he was one that actually was smart. He had good parents that didn't blow his money and all that. And I think that's why you don't see Urkel anymore. He was Urkel so long, he don't need to work another day in his life.
No, he still probably makes money.
Oh yeah, because it's syndicated, DVDs, everything.
I heard real quick before we end, I heard the Friends guys, all the people that did that show, the Friends, they still make $20 million each a year.
Oh yeah, they're getting checks. That thing's on every channel known to man. Now it's got Netflix deal and all that. Oh yeah.
It's just like, wow, they're crazy, dude. Make crazy money.
Once we syndicate this,
yeah,
the
brother.
money will come in. I know a lot of people looking forward to seeing you at the convention. I won't be there again, fans, just in case you're wondering. So I serve no purpose there.
Interesting week. See you guys next week. And hopefully be better AEW show. See what happens.
I'm going to see the Batman next Saturday, so I'll let everybody know if the Batman's any good. And I'll even give away the ending.
Gotcha.
Because I'm that kind of guy.
No problem, man. All right, guys.